Yeah, let's try it again. So, hey there, how's it going? I'm here to take a look at my new lens and see how it works in the daylight. I think it's like 1 o'clock right now. Yep, 12:55, and the sun is out. I'm shooting right now on FX30, right? The ISO is 320 right now, automatic, and the lens that I have right now is the Sirui F1.2 24mm lens. Of course, shutter speed is 1/50, and we're shooting at 4K, 24 frames per second. I think it's 8-bit and no color grading. We're just going no picture profile with the portrait look. I think saturation's like up a bit, and I dropped sharpness down. So that's my setup right now. I also do have a variable filter on the lens just to get the f1.2 with step-up rings. If you take a look, this is what it looks like without these step-up rings. So of course it's going to be way overexposed at f1.2. Just to provide a couple of stops of light. There we go. And looks so much better. Hopefully the sound is coming across well. I do have a mic in. And just want to see how it looks. I love how the background looks. It's all blurred out. And yeah, so if I get closer it gets more blurred out. I saw reviews about this, and like not too many people I guess review this lens, but it's like $400 lens in Canadian. I think it's like 3 something US, and I just got it for the fast f-stop. f1.2 is like super fast, just to get in comparison to what I have currently. I do have the Sigma 16mm. So the other thing about the lens is the focus distance is really long, so I'm probably like 30 centimeters away from the lens. If I get closer, it won't be able to focus. Yeah, just because the focusing distance is like 30 centimeters or something, it's not like a macro lens. But if you hold it within that, you know, range, it does focus. And we do have clear zoom, so if I really want to, you know, focus and get it bigger like that, it is possible. So here you go. This is a ZV-10 with the 16mm f1.4 Sigma lens. And so I do know that, you know, how f1.4 looks like. And you know, the step motors on the Sigma, they are louder than the Sirui, so I don't know if there was an update or something. I did buy a 7 Artisan, let's see, T0.95 at 35mm manual lens, and I do have to say that it's fun, like for playing around with. But it's not usable at like 0.95. You kind of have to go to like f2 or f2.8 just because the chromatic aberration is so bad. Like you'll see color fringing everywhere. And I did see some of the reviews that, you know, the color fringing on this wasn't as bad. Like the chromatic aberration is still usable at 1.2. So I think this is how it looks like. I also have a Sony 3.5, right? So this is the 3.5 to 6.3, 24 to 240 millimeter OSS stabilized lens. So this is pretty much only used outside. If you're using that 240, like for birds and stuff, it has to be sunny day. Otherwise it's like super bad in the light. It's not usable that way. Let's see what else I got. I do have a Tamron 17-70, right? Tamron 17. Once I get in there, it just starts focus on me like super fast. So Tamron 17-70, f2.8. I love this lens. I love this lens. It's most of the time, if it's daytime, I'm using this one. That's what I've been using on the FX30, just because you get that focal length, and 2.8 is good enough for daylight. Don't really need it to be like so blurred out. But I've been having trouble, like if there's any kind of darkness, f2.8 is just, it's not fast enough for the lower lenses. All right, we're back. What else I gotta say about this? Yeah, so 2.8 is great for outdoors. You don't get that like super blurry background like we have here, like super blurry. But I found like low light was, I was having trouble with the APS-C sensors. So that's why I primarily use the F1.4 16mm on the ZV-10, right? And basically like this one is not usable. The Sony f3.5 is not very usable for any time that there's like clouds and stuff. It starts to jump up in ISO. So the base ISO on the FX30 is 800. It has a dual base ISO 800 and 2500. And so if you go like outside of that, the colors kind of like look weird. So you really need like a high aperture f-stop, like low aperture f-stop in the dark. So I've been, you know, playing with really fast lenses. I feel like this one was like super budget, like it's F1.2, it's $400. I was expecting something like along the lines of like this one, the 7 Artisan one, in terms of performance, just because, you know, the 0.95 I thought would be fun to play around with, and it's very fun for like creative shots, but you can't really like go out and like snap a picture because there's no autofocus. You have to like manually focus on it, and I felt like anytime I try to manually focus, it's a tiny bit out of focus, and I think that's just because that's how the lens is designed. It's like whenever you take a shot, it's just a tiny bit blurred, tiny bit like out of focus, and I don't know, maybe just because like it's a soft lens that I wasn't like too happy with it. It's okay, it's like fun to play around with again. And if you really want like super chromatic aberration, then that's an interesting lens. Let's see what else. Oh, I do have, of course, the kit lens. Everyone has the kit lens, right? f3.5, 16-50. The problems with the kit lenses is the 3.5 f-stop, and you know, 16mm. I find it's a good spot for APS-C lenses, which like is a 24mm equivalent f full frame. So I don't think it's like that bad. The only thing is it's very loud and it's motorized, so I don't know, like the motor, it's very loud when in terms of trying to zoom in and out. At 3.5, like the color's kind of weird sometimes. So obviously the first lens that I bought when I upgraded was I think it was the Tamron. This was like my first upgrade lens, and just the way like it feels, it's a bit plasticky. So the Tamron is plasticky. It does have stabilization in it, which is really good because the Sigma has no stabilization in it, so you gotta like rely on like out of the browse and stuff. The Tamron does, so, it is what it is, right? You know. What else? But the hood is kind of plasticky. The body is plasticky. It does save on weight, which is like a big problem when you're like going around. The Sigma is metal, right? And I do like the lens hood. It's like a nice plastic. It doesn't leave fingerprints, whereas the Tamron does. And I like that this is metal. The body is metal. And like the price is amazing. This one, honestly, I don't use it for anything. I didn't have like good experience with it. I'm a noob, but you know, I don't need the 240 zoom for anything. I don't want to like look at my neighbor's window or anything. I am gonna like look and try to photograph some solar eclipses, so I have a bunch of ND filters on it right now because Monday is the solar eclipse. So that's good, like taking pictures of the moon, solar eclipses, like birds maybe. What else I want to talk about? The biggest thing I feel, well, as you go down in f-stops, like with an aperture, as the aperture goes lower, you really need to invest in filters, because like you want to use that aperture at the maximum, right? So the max aperture all the time. So the lower the number, the better, like all the time. That's what I want. And if you don't have a filter, it just gets blown out in the daylight, and then you have to go to like F16, right? So that becomes a problem. So I'm just gonna switch to the Sigma now, the 16 mil, and show you the lens and just do a body review of it. All right, so again, you gotta put on a filter on, ND filter, and so the Sigma has the 67 millimeter filter thread, right? 67 millimeter, and this is the Sigma F1.4. As you can see, the background, it's not as blurred anymore. So I don't know where the cap for this is. I put it somewhere. Oh, you know what? Yeah, let's do this. Switch the caps around. Okay, now I've got the Sirui cap on it, right? So the Sigma, let's see the focusing distance. See, as you can see with the Sigma, the focusing distance is so much closer. Like I am maybe 5 centimeters from the lens. And let's see where it focuses. Yeah, like 5 centimeters. And so, oh, that was upside down. That was just great. 5 centimeters from the lens, and it can take it. So if you want to like put your lens close up and look at things, obviously the Sigma is going to be better, but the background blur, I feel like it's a bit worse. I'm not going to say worse. It's like, obviously it's not as blurry because it's a wider lens, the f-stop is higher. I am shooting at shutter speed 1/50 again, f1.4. ISO jumps like around 200, 250. So it's pretty similar to the, you know, what I had on here, 4K, 24 frames per second. And just to be aware, the wider the lens, if you come closer, like the face does start to squish, right? So the face does squish. So you kind of have to like step back. So if you can see, as I am closer, my ears start to, you know, go away, and it stretches your face out, like elongates the face. So if you want to shoot with a wider lens, you want to be further away from it, right? So you're going to capture more. So I think around here, the face kind of looks normal, but then your background starts to come into perspective again. You got your ugly, you know, I don't know, chair, you got a plant there. Maybe you want to see the plant, but There's a kind of like part of a treadmill there. So kind of gets a bit harder to frame your shot with a wider lens, but maybe it's better to have this. Again, the difference is going to be full frame equivalent. This is a 24 full frame equivalent, and this is a 35 full frame equivalent. Now let's talk a bit about the body, right? About the body. So I feel like this is metal. This feels like either metal or plastic. I think it is metal. Just looking at the edges there. It's like a metal, but it's like a really interesting kind of texture. It's very smooth. And when it was cold, this was pretty cold. So I'm gonna go with that it is metal, because if it was plastic, it's not gonna be cold. Yeah, but the lid is plastic, obviously. But again, the paint job is interesting because it's very smooth. And so you got that blue accent there. I'm gonna get out of the frame. You got the blue accent. You got the focusing ring here if you want to focus manually, right? And the ring is very smooth as compared to like the Sigma lens. The Sigma lens has a bit more resistance to it, where this one is like very kind of loose, kind of like smooth. Not loose, but it's like very smooth. Obviously it's a automatic focusing lens, so you're not going to be using that too much, right? Let's see. It also is 58 millimeter ring on here, so you do kind of have to like use the step up rings. So if you have a filter that is 67 millimeters, like I'm using here on the Sigma, then you're gonna need some step up rings to step up from the 58 to the 60. What do I have here? 67. 67? Yeah, up to the 67. And so let's see. Let's put the flower petal on. So you're gonna line up the dots there. It's gonna click in, and then you're gonna rotate like that. And so the dot is with the dash here. Okay. And so you got the nice kind of white look to it. It does come in black and other colors. What else? In terms of weight, this is 300 grams. And if you compare them together, this is the Tamron. I would have expected that this Sirui is going to be like much smaller, but it's not that much smaller. But it is lighter. Like it is like super light, because like when I put it on the FX30, the body doesn't tip over. It just stays like that. Whereas you put the Tamron on it, it's gonna start to tip over. So I don't know what else. What else they gotta say about it? Man, the Sigma is great. So let's just try to do like the focus thing. See how it focuses. We're gonna do Sigma comparison versus Sirui and see the focusing speed. So I think we have like a fast focusing speed right now set on the FX30. So I'm just gonna, what am I gonna use for this? Let's use our favorite. Here we go. We're gonna use this guy. So we're gonna put him up and back to me, up, back to me, up, back to me. Then we're just gonna move him out of the frame here. So the Sigma like focusing speed is like super fast. So again, you can't really tell about the motor, right? Can't really hear the motor too much from here, or probably on the mic. I did hear it when I was using the ZV-10 and it was kind of dark out, so like it tries to hunt, but it is like the ZV-10, right? So I don't know, it's kind of strange. Now we're gonna put on the Sirui now. So Sirui, I'm gonna put on my filter here. Ah, come on. Struggles are real. This is what happens when you don't want to buy like multiple filters. And just checking, it is F1.2, ISO 125, shutter 1/50. Okay, we're gonna just maybe, okay, ISO 250, so it's, you know, fair in comparison, because I think the other one was 250. All right, so we're gonna do the same thing. This is the Sirui lens, same settings. We're gonna do the autofocusing speed because we've had troubles before. I mean, other people have had troubles, so. You know, I think it's a bit slower. It's like there's a box, and then if I have him here, it's gonna continue to focus on me, and if, oh yeah, so if I go within that box, if I cover my eye, it goes on him. Okay, so let's try that. And you really have to watch out for that minimum focusing distance, because like if you get too close, you know, it's not gonna work well. So yeah, I wanted to talk about this new lens and see how it performed, and so far so good. I'm really liking the aperture. You really have to use it with the ND filter, because otherwise it doesn't work. You're gonna get blown out highlights everywhere, and maybe that's what you want. Maybe you don't want to see anything, right? Maybe you don't want to see anything. And again, so I am kind of new to this, so there's no color grading on this. I'm just gonna straight throw it into whatever DaVinci Resolve and upload it to YouTube. Or if you recommend shooting in some other log, some log or some, you know, some other setting, like I think the recommended format is like Cinetone, which is like PP11 on this camera, but I don't know how to edit too much. Again, I got the camera, I like, you know, taking photographs and some videos for like personal stuff, but I don't edit it. So truthfully, if I'm gonna be taking pictures or videos for myself, and they're just gonna be sitting there on the memory card or on my computer for memories, I'm not gonna edit every single one. Obviously, they're just gonna get stored, and that's it. If you're gonna be uploading, maybe you wanna edit it. So, you know, give me some tips on what I should be shooting in, or if this is good enough. Right now, it looks pretty much like how I look like in the viewfinder, so it's kind of hard to tell. Otherwise, yeah, thanks for watching.